Kapapasok lamang na balita na muling ipinamukha ng British national na si KANGKONGAN kay Senator Manny Pacquiao ang aabutin nitong kahihiyan kung sakasakali mang babanggain ng presidential daughter na si Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte sa darating na 2022 election. Sa isang live Facebook video, kinumpirma mismo ng British national na maging ang ilan pa sa mga partido o grupo sa darating na 2022 election ay inuudyukan si Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio na kumandidato sa pagkapangulo. Ang mas masakit pa nga raw dito ay sa kabila ng paninira ni Pacman at maling akusasyon sa ama ni Mayor Sara Duterte ay tila wala pa rin ni isa ang pumapanig sa kanya. Maging ang PDP laban kung saan siya ang acting president dito ay malabo rin siyang i-endorso matapos nga ang sigalot na sinimula ni Pacman. Kaya't pangatwiran mismo ni British National KANGKONGAN, walang ibang pag-asa at tila magiging grand slam ang pagkapanalo ni Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte dahil tila umaangat na sa 92% ang karamihan ng Pilipinong naniniwala na ay magpapatuloy ng kanyang anak na si Sara Duterte ang nasimula ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Panoorin ng diretsang buwelta ng British National na si KANGKONGAN sa bawat kandidato na tila dinudungisan ng pangalan ni Mayor Sara Duterte sa darating na 2022 election. Narito ang full video.
Hello, I just wanted to make a few comments, if you like, or a few words of encouragement for Davao Mayor Inday Sara Duterte Carpio to run as the 17th President of the Republic of the Philippines. You know, I've met Inday Sara Duterte, and she has such charisma, such positive attitude. She's very polite, she's well spoken. I was invited to a breakfast that she hosted a couple of years back at a hotel in London, and you could see by the way that she commanded the table, you could see by her presence, that aura about her, that she is a strong, determined woman who only wants the very best for the Philippines and her people. And with the news this morning that the very well respected Defensor Miriam Santiago's party have come out and supported Mayor Inday Sara is just fantastic news. How many other politicians in the Philippines have support from a wealth of other parties? You know, I just believe that Sara Duterte is really a very commanding presence and is really a very safe pair of hands who would bring about great changes in the Philippines. From her positivity, from her support for women and children and mothers back in Davao, and of course her work in the reserved force of the Philippines, or the armed forces reservists of the Philippines, in that she's a strong woman, a determined woman, a leader. And this is what the Philippines needs. The Philippines needs a strong woman. The Philippines needs a mother. We've had Tatay Digong, or President Duterte, as the father of the Philippines. I believe the Philippines now needs a strong mother of the Philippines, and somebody who would continue with the work of President Duterte, somebody who would continue with that legacy. You know, the Duterte family have very much done a great job in Davao, and they're very much looking after the country. They very much care for the people. You only have to go back when President Duterte, before he became president, was asking for what happened to the funds of Yolanda, and you could see that he was really strong in his words, and he really cared. And this is the thing, the same thing with Mayor Sara, where she was complaining or campaigning, where people were ripping up the stalls, correct me if I'm wrong, and there was a particular mayor who was trying to stop the livelihoods of people, and she intervened in that, and she stood up for the people. This is a woman who would stand up for Filipinos. This is a woman who would stand up for the poor, for the oppressed, for women who've been mistreated, I have no doubt that Inday Sara Duterte would be an excellent stateswoman as well. You know, she's gone with her father to various overseas visits, and you can quite clearly see she has that commanding presence. You know, if you look at photos of her, you can see already she's most definitely a stateswoman. She's most definitely a force to be reckoned with. I know she's said on a number of occasions she doesn't want to run as president. I understand that, but you can see the clamour of the people. You can see the amount of people who would want her to reconsider that. You know, the fact is, what worries me in the upcoming presidential elections, I'm very worried about a split vote. I'm very worried about 6 different candidates all vying for the position and people not knowing who to vote for. And this is something that could leave the door wide open to the Liberal Party or to the Yellows. You know, those people who voted for President Duterte, the 16 million, they need somebody to vote for. Now, whether Inday Sara Duterte considers herself for a presidential position or a vice presidential position, and some people have said Bongbong Marcos, and they don't really mind which way the split is. You know, it's not for me to say. I'm not a Filipino voter. All I want is a better Philippines, a safer Philippines, and a Philippines that continues with the Build program and the legacies brought about by President Duterte. And I strongly believe that his daughter, Inday Sara Duterte, would continue that legacy, would continue that fight for the Filipino people, and I believe she would make an excellent president, and I believe she would have massive support, including international support. She's a stateswoman, a strong leader, and I believe is exactly what the Philippines needs at this time. Thank you very much. And Inday Sara Duterte, you have my support, you have my prayers, you have my encouragement, and I have your back.